Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I'm going to be doing an Abyssal test. This is again for the Devoter in the Abyss. I think that this ship has a really good potential of being a pretty cheap T4 running ship that is very reliable just because of how tanky and how good capacity this ship has. It's not like a particularly fast, extremely fast ship or like a, it's gonna crazy ISK per hour, but why did it dock there? Come on, stupid Devoted. He's too afraid. He doesn't want to go in the T4 Abyss. But this ship feels like a very reliable way to do the T4 Abyss, because I've always felt like the T3 has been what you can just go with, just the standard passive gear. There's not really much thought has to be put into it. But when you get to like T4 and more, then usually you would have to put a bit more thought into it, like go with something a bit more active. You have to have a bit more damage or a bit more DPS tank especially, and that's what this ship excels at. Its amount of EHP of its tank. It's absolutely crazy just because of the good resistances. Again, I wanted to show you guys that this is a Tech 2 fitted ship I've got right here. Just Tech 2. The only thing is faction is this web here, and this battery. Otherwise, it's like really good. Just a absolutely good ship. I think you could even get away with a little bit bling down versions of this, but I think that this cap battery gives a good amount of capacitor that I think is good to have. Always is good to have a bit of extra capacitor just in case we're going to do electrical abyss. We'll be cap stable. And then the Federation Navy Stasis Webifier, just that 14-kilometer range makes everything so much smoother. You don't have to stress about getting close to people. It's so smooth when you have the 14-kilometer range. So it definitely, in my opinion, is worth the investment, because this whole setup right here costs under 500 million, I think, at least at the time I'm making this video. And I've never even come close to dying, and I've just been going straight through. And I'm using no implants, or I think I am using one. Yeah, I'm using just 1% power grid implant. But the thing is, technically speaking, I don't even need to use it. It's just that for some reason the test server, my power grid skill wasn't trained up. This armor rigging skill, if I train this armor rigging skill, then I am actually able to get it. And I think even that I've got the skill. Yeah, it's level 4 I needed, I think. So I must have trained it last time. I had it training the last time I went to the test server. But you are able to use this without any implants, and it doesn't seem like I have any issue. If I would use some implants, though, that I would give some tips on some implants, just to make it even better, is to put maybe some damage implants, just to get a little bit of extra DPS, The DPS is, you can still kill stuff pretty quickly, especially these rogue drones, but if you do sometimes have big, heavy spawns with a lot of, NPCs that you need to kill, the Devoter will take a long time. It's not a particularly fast ship, as I said before. It's not like a extremely ISK per hour monster. It's just it feels like a very relaxing experience, and a very relaxing, not only that it's very tanky, but also a very cheap experience as well. And that's a big factor when it comes to making you having a relaxing experience in the Abyss, because Abyssal gankers isn't a thing. When I used to start doing Abyss, I just thought, it's just maybe like really rare occasions that people are doing it. But it has happened to me multiple times, in fact. So it is definitely something that can and will occur if you are not careful in your Abyssal running. And having a ship that is not even worth ganking makes just everything so much more relaxing. But also, if you do happen to get ganked, even if someone is stupid enough to gank a ship that's not really worth ganking, then you will still have an easy time recovering from that loss, because you'll get that ISK back very quickly if it's a cheap ship. If it's an expensive ship, it'll obviously take a long time to get it back. So here, I'm using the Conflag because these guys are getting in range. I'm using the Webifier, and you can see here, these are cases where the Webifier comes in easy right here. So, makes this a very easy experience. Like this Field Weaver you saw before, now he's in 10 kilometers, but before he was like at 12, and it'll be hard to pin him down with the Webifier. Then the Webifier makes it so much easier to hit stuff. If we just start Webifying him, then we'll be able to hit him pretty easily, especially if we're traveling in just one direction, because we want to keep transversal good. Look, you see here, he's 14 kilometers now, and then when he starts getting further away, he's even so far that I can't use my Webify even now. But since he's so far away, the transversal is going to be good enough that I can just shoot him. You see that? I'm doing damage now. But it's always better to have a little bit of Webifying, so I'm going to just go a little bit closer, because I think the 15 and 14 kilometer difference, it doesn't matter really. Where is the one this one here? Because this guy is going to tracking disrupt me. It's going to make it harder for me to hit stuff. And I want to keep range at 15 kilometers, because this is annoying how I'm just getting a speed tanked by these drones, but you just have to keep a bit of range, and then it's not too difficult at all. Let's see what kind of percentage have we got. So we've got the minus 50% EM resistance. So this is the worst case for time, which is one of the weaker points of the Devoter. It's not got the most amount of DPS. I mean, it's got DPS. So yeah, 600 DPS, but it's not got like, Gila level DPS. We're not talking Gila level DPS right here. But so this is why this is one of the downsides that it'll take a long time to do this. And if you have the minus 50% then EM resistance, then the enemy NPCs are going to have better resistances, and it'll give you a good representation of the kind of worst case scenario for this kind of ship in the Abyss. Let's see, our first wave done 3 minutes and 20 seconds, really good. And I think, in fact, maybe I will even just buy this ship on Tranquility just because it seems to be so reliable. I feel like I'm coming to the point where this is like almost like proven that this ship is a good Abyssal ship. I mean, that's why I'm doing on test server to test it out, but so far it seems like it is a very, very impressive Abyssal ship. Like, look here, we're just chilling here, taking full damage from Charybdis Tyrannos, going really slowly. It doesn't really matter. We're also getting target painted, so that could be something good to take out first, just because it'll increase the amount of damage you will do. The Charybdis Tyrannos will do. Can even start shooting now because the Scorch gives good range. Scorch has just got so nice range for the amount of damage. It's just such a good ammo type. And you'll notice that the Ephialtes guys, the Sleeper Cruisers, they have most of the HP in the shields, so when their shields go down, they tend to die a lot quicker. So, generally speaking, when it comes to Charybdis Tyrannos, I can actually face tank Charybdis Tyrannos just like I'm doing now. But it is going to be some issues when all the crews are, blasting you down with the DPS like they are now. But if I had killed everything else, then there will be no problems. So that's why I'm going like I'm doing now. You can see here, I'm just going forward, because then I'm getting closer and closer to Charybdis, and then I'll be able to get a good angle to be able to, just orbit Charybdis at 500. And when you're orbiting Charybdis at 500, then there's really nothing to worry about at all. And a little mistake that I noticed that I did right now is I was using Scorch too much. I should have switched over to Conflag when they got in range, because look at the amount of damage you're doing right now with Conflag, a lot quicker than we had before with the Scorch. And you can also see here, like I was telling you guys, the closer we get here, the more Charybdis Tyrannos misses. You see, misses completely, and we're able to just get here and speed tank. And we got a wrecking shot right there. You see that 1,500 damage. Just this guy really doesn't care. This Devoter, it just goes straight through. It's like I've said this before, it's like an XL Maul or XL Zealot. Like, just really, really powerful in terms of this tank. Just like a Victorian brick coming through at mighty 500 meters a second. A really slow ship, but it is a very powerful ship nonetheless. It would be. I would have loved it to be a tiny bit faster. That would have been a really nice thing. 700 meters per second would be pretty good speed, I would say. Even that doesn't feel particularly fast, but that's the speed of the Gila, and the Gila is not a particularly fast ship, but it's alright. It's alright. We'll have to get with. We pay there, but we also get back in the good resistances of the Devoter. And also, this is something to note as well. My heavy assault cruiser, or not heavy assault cruiser, my heavy interdiction cruisers levels is not particularly high. I don't think it's definitely not 5 at least. Heavy interdiction cruise level 3, okay? So I could be even better with this. I could have even better range. I could be able to hit stuff a lot better. And if I'm able to hit stuff further away with Conflag, then it'll essentially give me more DPS, because it'll have an easier time hitting. It'll be less in that fall off range, and then I'll be able to apply more good shots like penetrating and hit shots that give me that essentially make my DPS a bit higher. So this can even be better if I had better skills. Like the heavy interdiction cruise is nothing that I use a whole lot. There is one ship that I really like a lot, the Onyx. I just think that ship looks really good. Otherwise, I've never really used them in PvP or anything, so I've never really had a reason to train those skills up to, or at least up to significant levels. I just thought, okay, just have a 3, that's enough. Okay. There's this Ephialtes right here, and you can see here, it just took forever to have to get in range just because of how slow this guy is. Like, by the time we got here, Charybdis is already sitting here, orbiting at the border. Like, the way Charybdis works is Charybdis likes to kite Charybdis's AI is that it likes to keep range at a certain range. I don't know how far, but it wants to, generally speaking, usually it tries to keep range. And we can, in fact, manipulate this. I know a YouTuber called Torvald Uruz, he showed this, that if you try to go behind it, you can kind of manipulate it. If we go now here in between the border, he'll start moving in the opposite direction, because that's what I'm saying. This guy, he likes to go in the opposite direction of where you're going, or like go away from you. So if we go somewhere here, he'll go towards the gate, and we can manipulate him to go towards the gate. So I think that'll be a good thing. And in fact, I'll take off my Webifier just to make it easier for him to move, because I have not got any tracking issues, obviously, when this guy is, you know, this Charybdis Tyrannus is going like it is now. Look at this. Look, he's going towards the gate. You see that? Charybdis Tyrannus is going away, running away like a little baby. Run away, little baby. Run away. Look, this is what I'm saying. When all the cruisers are down, we can just sit here and just face tank this guy like as if it's nothing. We've also ramped up our damage. Charybdis Tyrannus, for some reason, you know, drifters and sleeper type of ships, they're always known for doing omni damage, and that is true. They do often like different cruisers together, they'll do omni damage, but if you look at a ship for itself, often they'll do a particular damage type, and in this case, you see here that the Charybdis Tyrannus does mostly EM and thermal resistance. So as time goes on, we get our reactive Hardener go up and running. We have some really nice resistances. I mean, there's still the lowest resistances we've got, but it is still it gets a lot higher than it would have been without this thing. And we can just tank like this, so good. Look at this. Now we're even closer towards the gate, so it's just good. This is where you can save time, you know. If you've got a slow ship, then you have to be smart of your path, the paths you take, because that cruising through space will take time, and as I've told you guys before, time is not the strong side of the Devoter, so you just want to keep that in mind. But the tank is definitely the case, so you can take a bit of a ballsy moves, like brave moves when you want to go in. You can just go in, just face like I just saw while I was doing that, just face tank it, like just pushing, literally just pushing Charybdis towards the gate. It was what I was doing. But I've been thinking maybe you could even put an MWD on this, but I don't know how much that would give. But an MWD could be a possibility, but then again, fitting will be a big issue. I can barely fit this now with the power grid. An MWD consumes more power grid than a Afterburner, so it'll just be worse. So, we've got Kikis over here, and we'll go in range of these guys. The Kikimores, they have weird AI. They kind of, sometimes they decide to kite, sometimes they decide to go all in. It's just weird how they work. I don't really understand how they work, but they work in a weird way that they like to kite and they like to orbit sometimes. Let's take out this Dama on the way towards these guys. Can lock up these guys too. I don't know if these Drekavacs, they're repairing these Kikimores, because I've always noticed that this wave has a lot of remote repairs on grid. You can see here we're taking a lot of damage right now. But the good thing is that, in fact, this ship has a very high explosive resistance, so it makes it very favorable in this wave type, because, you know, the Triglavians do explosive and thermal damage, mainly explosive, I think. No, they do more thermal, the Kikimores. I thought they do more explosive. Okay, I guess it depends. Look, you see this guy's doing a little bit less thermal. It depends. It's like I said before, you know, the sleeper cruisers, it depends. Overall, they do omni damage, but certain ships do certain damage types. Okay, so this guy, look, this guy's decided to, you know what, I'm gonna kite away from you. See, now let's just switch over. We could get a bit closer and web them down. Look at them doing the whole logic thing over here. They're all remote repairing each other. Let's switch over to Scorch just to get a bit of damage and at least something, because we're not doing any damage right now. We want to get in range and Webify down that Kikimora. I'm thinking that the Kikimora would be good to take over, because it's going to be easier to kill than the Drekavacs. And since we've got a lot of remote repairing on grid right now, then it will be quite favorable to just take out the smaller stuff first, so that we can reduce the amount of stuff that is doing remote repairs as quick as possible. Okay, there we go. You can Webify him. Come on, Webify. Why are you not Webifying? Whatever. Didn't need to anyway. Okay, Conflag. We can probably keep it range 7.5, something like that, just so we have perfect... no, we don't even need to. We can just orbit at 7.5 instead. There's really no reason to. It will have so good tracking anyway. Oh, we got a grazing shot. That's not good. Well, I guess we got a little bit of a hit right there. But you can see here, the Devoter is doing very well, like usual. Just tech 2. Just damn tech bloody 2 reps. And we still tank so much. Imagine we have the possibility of adding blinged reps. We have the possibility of adding blinged resistance modules, you know? We have the possibility of adding blinged implants. We have so many possibilities of upgrading it, and we still tank so much without any of them. Like, we will tank probably 700 T6 level DPS, even more if we add the implants, blinked reppers, and all that kind of stuff. The only thing is, I can never see this being a good T6 ship just because of the amount of DPS it does is way too little. It needs to be more DPS. If this thing did something like 800 DPS, then I could see it being a possible T6 ship, but it doesn't seem like that would be the case. Maybe one could achieve such DPS by blinging these heat sinks and putting one damage module here, then having full bling on the tank, because then you won't maybe have to have this extra rig right here. Then possibility will be that maybe do T6, but I don't feel like it would be, just because the Devoter doesn't do that much DPS. But maybe it would be possible, like with a 5% rate of fire implant or surgical strike implant, 5% medium energy turret implant. Maybe it could. Maybe I'll try that in the future. That could be a fun thing to at least attempt. You know, it would be interesting to see what you could pull off in a full DPS. Devoter, because there is definitely possibility of like adding extra things to get the DPS up. It's just that, you know, we're going pretty cheap here. We're going reliable and cheap. Reliable and cheap is the name of the game with the Devoter. This is it's honest work with the Devoter, but we can definitely spice things up a bit if we want to splash the cash on it. And you can see here that the look at these guys. The origin conduit is way too far away. We're gonna have to start going towards the origin conduit, because these guys are pulling range from us, and I don't know if it'll be a good idea to get around and try pushing them like Kirby's Tyrannus, because I don't think that's the way the Drekavacs work in their AI. So we're gonna try to take out this guy, and we're just gonna use Scorch on this guy, and we'll make our way. See if he follows off. What does he decide to do? He decides to orbit me. Yeah, look, I think he's trying to get a little bit closer. Is he? Oh, he's even pulling away, this guy. I wonder if he's going to start following me, because if he starts following me outside Scorch range, then we've got problems. But I don't know if it's going to be too bad. Okay, he's still not following me. Come on, follow me, stupid Drekavac. Okay, we're going to have to... Okay, now I think he is following me, but I have to get a bit closer because I'm not doing any damage right now. Yeah, because this is the thing, you have to be a bit tactical, you know, tactical with your roots. If I can't just keep attacking him with the conflag, because it's gonna take forever for me to get back towards the gate. Let's get towards the gate. Come on, there we go. Okay, we're moving towards the gate, and the Scorch should take care of him on the way there. We'll obviously not get full DPS because we're pulling quite a big range gap between this guy. But I think it'll be alright. Yeah, there we go. Look, easy, really easy. You can see there, we don't have a whole lot of time left, 4 minutes left, and it didn't at all go good. Those 2 extra waves. You know, the first wave I finished in like 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes. The other waves, you know, wasn't at all as good there. Like, what was that, 6 minutes or something like that? Not at all good time. But as I said before, this is a worst case scenario with the minus 50% EM resistance penalty. If we have a minus 70%, this will go a lot faster, just because of the way our enemy resistances are reduced, so our DPS does more damage. Well, let's go to the gate and get out of here. Overall, I'm really glad what the Devoter is able to do, and I think maybe someday I'll test T5 or T6 with a blinged variant of this ship, just to see what you can achieve in the Devoter, because it seems to be a very fun and interesting ship to do in the high tier versions of, or like like over T3 level of sites, T4 especially, just because of it seems to be pretty relaxing. It's like this ship almost trivializes the T4 just because of how powerful it is. But then again, as I said before, there's always a downside. The time is not the best. You can see here, time is not so good, so it doesn't trivialize it in that way, that it's finishing it in like 10 minutes, like something like a Gila or Skybreaker would do. But it seems to overall, anyway, be pretty reliable, and I'm overall very happy with it, because I would have never really expected to heavy interdiction cruiser to be this good. I mean, they are very tanky, generally speaking, low DPS, that's the theme of them, but especially this ship right here, with the so little bling I'm using, I'm really impressed with what I can get out of this Devoter right here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.